You're on the treadmill, and you feel it begin. A single bead forms at your hairline. Then another. Within minutes, your shirt is soaked through, your back is slick, and you glance around the room hoping nobody notices how much you are leaking. You feel gross. You feel soft. You feel like your body is quietly betraying you. It isn't. That sweat rolling down your spine is not a flaw. It is not weakness. It is one of the most terrifying weapons in the entire history of life on this planet. And it is dripping off your body right now while you stand there feeling embarrassed about it. You have been taught to see sweat as something to hide, a sign that you are out of shape, a social accident to wipe away before anyone sees. But that reflex, that instinct to be ashamed of the water on your skin is one of the strangest lies your modern life has ever told you. Because the animal that sweats the way you sweat is not the prey. It is the thing the prey runs from. Look at almost any other mammal on Earth and you will not find this. A dog cannot do what you are doing. A wolf cannot. A lion, the so-called king of everything, cannot. When those animals overheat, they have one option. They open their mouths and they pant, throwing off heat through their tongues and the wet lining of their throats, and it is slow, and it is limited, and it is fragile. A dog cannot pant and run flat out at the same time for long. Its body simply cooks from the inside. Its engine has no cooling system that can keep pace with a marathon. Yours does. You are covered, head to toe, in somewhere between 2 and 4 million tiny glands. They are called eccrine glands, which is just a scientific word for the countless microscopic taps buried in your skin that push water straight up onto the surface of your body. When that water evaporates, it carries heat away with it. Not through your breath. Through every square inch of you at once, your entire body becomes a radiator. And because you can cool yourself while you keep moving, you can do something almost no other large animal on the planet can do. You can run and keep running long after everything else has to stop. Now hold that thought and go back in time. Go back a couple of million years to the open savannas of East Africa. Your ancestors are there. They are not fast. Let me say that plainly because it matters. Your ancestors were not fast. Over a short sprint, almost anything out there could catch them. A lion would run them down in seconds. A leopard, a hyena, an angry buffalo. In a race measured in meters, your bloodline loses every single time. But nature did not hand your ancestors speed. Nature handed them something far more frightening. It handed them endurance. At some point in the deep history, your lineage began to change in a very specific direction. The thick fur that covered earlier primates began to thin and vanish. That seems like a terrible idea on the surface. Fur protects you. Fur keeps you warm at night. Fur shields your skin from the sun. Why would evolution strip it away and leave your ancestors nearly naked under the African sky? Because bare skin evaporates. A body covered in dense fur cannot sweat efficiently. The water gets trapped, the heat stays in, and the animal has to slow down or die. But a body with almost no fur, wired with millions of sweat glands, can dump heat directly into the air even while it is working, even while it is moving, even under a blazing midday sun. Losing your hair was not a weakness. It was the price of admission to a completely different way of hunting. It was the moment your ancestors traded the ability to look fearsome for the ability to be relentless. And relentless is so much worse. In 2004, two scientists named Dennis Bramble and Daniel Lieberman published a study in the journal Nature that stopped a lot of people cold. Their argument was simple and unsettling. They looked at the human body part by part, and they made the case that we are not built the way we are by accident. We are built to run long distances, not to sprint, to endure. They pointed to things you have never once thought about. The tendons in your legs, especially the great Achilles tendon at your heel, which stores and releases energy like a spring with every stride, something a walking body barely needs but a running body lives on. They pointed to the arch of your foot, curved and tensioned to bounce you forward. They pointed to a small band of tissue at the back of your skull called the nuchal ligament, a structure that keeps your head steady while you pound across the ground, a feature you share with horses and dogs and other running animals, but not with chimpanzees, who do not run this way at all. They pointed to your enormous backside, the gluteus maximus, the largest muscle in your body which barely fires when you walk but ignites when you run, bracing your torso so you do not pitch forward onto your face with every step. Piece by piece, they were describing a machine, and the machine was built for one purpose: to keep going after everything else has given up. But the crown jewel of that machine, the thing that made all the rest of it lethal, was your skin. Because a running animal generates heat, enormous amounts of heat, and heat is the wall that stops nearly every other creature. A cheetah, the fastest land animal alive, can only hold its top speed for around 20 or 30 seconds. Not because its legs give out, because its body temperature spikes so violently that it has to stop before it damages itself. The fastest hunter on Earth is a prisoner of its own heat. You are not. You sweat, you cool, you continue. And so your ancestors invented a way of killing that sounds almost gentle until you understand what it actually does. It is called persistence hunting, and it is one of the most quietly horrifying things a living thing has ever done to another. Here is how it works. You do not ambush the animal, you do not outsprint it, you simply pick one. A single antelope, a single kudu, a single gazelle. And you begin to walk and jog toward it steadily in the heat of the day at the hottest hour when every sensible predator is lying in the shade. The animal bolts. Of course it does. It explodes away from you at a speed you could never match, and it vanishes over the horizon, and it thinks it has won. It is faster than you. It will always be faster than you, but it cannot sweat the way you can. It cools itself mostly by panting, and it cannot pant well while galloping. So after that sprint, it has to stop. It has to stand in whatever shade it can find and breathe and dump the heat it just built up. Its body is screaming at it to rest. And then over the rise, walking, jogging, dripping with sweat but never stopping, you appear again. It runs again, and again it pulls away. And again it has to stop to cool down. And again you come. You are always coming. You never sprint, so you never overheat. You never overheat, so you never have to stop. And the animal, which is so much faster than you, discovers the most terrible truth of the savannah. Speed does not matter if you cannot rest. Hour after hour, in the punishing heat, the gap between its bursts shrinks. Its sprints get shorter. Its recoveries get longer. Its body temperature climbs and climbs because it can never fully cool between runs, and eventually it reaches a state called hyperthermia, where the animal is simply cooking alive inside its own skin. Its legs stop obeying it. It staggers. It stands there, trembling, unable to run anymore, and the sweating thing walks calmly up to it and ends it. This is not a story from a textbook alone. People still do this. In the Kalahari Desert of southern Africa, the San people have practiced persistence hunting in living memory, and researchers have documented and even filmed it. One researcher in particular, Louis Liebenberg, spent years running alongside San hunters, and his accounts describe exactly this. A hunter selecting an animal, chasing it not with a burst but with a patient, grinding pursuit across the open desert in the worst heat of the day, tracking it when it disappeared, driving it until its body failed. The hunt could last hours. The hunter carried barely anything. His main weapon was his skin. Travel across the world to the copper canyons of northern Mexico, and you find the Tarahumara, or Raramuri, a people whose very name is often translated as something close to those who run, or the light-footed ones. They are famous for covering staggering distances on foot through brutal mountain terrain, running not as a sport bolted onto their lives, but as a thread woven through the whole of it. They are living proof of the same ancient engine, the human body cooled by sweat, made to go and go and go. And if you still doubt what your species is capable of, consider a stranger piece of evidence, tucked away in a small Welsh town called Llanwrtyd Wells. Every year they hold a race there called the Man vs. Horse Marathon, in which human runners race actual horses over roughly 22 miles of hilly, difficult ground. For years, the humans always lost, and everyone assumed the horse would simply always win. A horse is faster. Everyone knows a horse is faster, but over a long enough distance, in the right conditions, on the right terrain, a human being has beaten the horse. More than once. Not because the person was faster, the horse is always faster, but because over enough miles and enough heat, the animal's advantage burns away, and the thing that keeps going is the thing that wins. That thing is you. So sit with the strangeness of this. The animal kingdom is full of creatures that are stronger than you, faster than you, armed with claws and fangs and horns you cannot dream of. And yet almost none of them can do the one thing your soft, sweating, seemingly fragile body does without you even trying. They cannot outlast you. In a world measured by patience instead of power, you are the apex. You are the thing on the horizon that never, ever stops coming. And here is the part that should send a small chill down your spine. That machine is still inside you. Every piece of it. You did not evolve out of it. You are not a diminished version of those ancestors. You are them, wearing different clothes. The Achilles tendon is still in your heel. The nuchal ligament is still at the base of your skull. The great muscle that braces your run is still the largest in your body. And the 2 to 4 million sweat glands are still there, buried in your skin. Ready. Which brings us back to the treadmill. Because everything you were feeling ashamed of a few minutes ago is that ancient system waking up. The bead at your hairline is not weakness. It is a 2 million-year-old cooling machine coming online exactly as designed. The soaked shirt is not embarrassment. It is the fingerprint of the deadliest endurance hunter the planet has ever produced. The heat rising off your body and the water carrying it away is the exact process that let a slow, weak, clawless primate walk down animals that could outrun it 100 times over. You have been taught to read sweat as a sign that your body is losing. It has always been the sign that your body is winning. The wolf pants and has to stop. The cheetah burns out in half a minute. The mighty lion sleeps through the hottest part of the day because it has no other choice. And you, the naked ape, the sweating thing, can walk out into the noon heat that grounds every other hunter and simply keep going until whatever you are following falls down. So the next time it happens, when the sweat starts to run and the old instinct tells you to be embarrassed, to hide it, to wipe it away, remember what it actually is. Remember what it made possible. Remember the antelope on the trembling legs and the horse fading over the Welsh hills and the hunter in the Kalahari walking calmly across the burning sand. You are on the treadmill, and you feel it begin. A single bead forms at your hairline, and for the first time you understand that the water sliding down your spine is not the mark of something weak. It is the mark of the most patient predator that ever lived. And it has always been you.